Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of Jaylen Brown's brand new signature shoe with his own company 741. So this is the Rover and this is also the Black Moon colorway. And I believe the first round of pre-sales was sold out, but they are available for pre-order right now as I'm filming this video. It retails for $200, which is crazy. What are you thinking, Jaylen Brown? That's insane. You know what I mean? And even Nike can't really get away with it. Like Nike, when you see a hoop shoe for like $200, people are like, dude, that's way too expensive. You know what I mean? I feel like $150 should be max, especially if you're starting your own company. And also especially for a first signature shoe. But anyways, is it a good performer? We'll have to see on that. Let's get it started off with the traction. So for the traction, we have a pretty interesting traction pattern, and as far as how the grooves look, it reminds me a lot of the LeBron Ambassador 13s, if you guys remember that shoe. And they are saying it's their own proprietary translucent rubber, which is kind of funny. I guess it's good to see from a pretty much new company. You know what I mean? They're doing some R&D and they made their own proprietary rubber compound, I guess, right? But yeah, we do have a translucent rubber in this colorway, and also we have this kind of like shiny oval thing. It looks like an eyeball a little bit, and we can see that kind of shape going throughout the entire upper, and also here in the midsole in the heel. But yeah, how's the traction? So if you're playing on a clean court, my gosh, it has an amazing bite. Really hard stop, top tier stop, I would say, right? So when I was playing on a clean court, I loved it. And also it has a super loud high pitched squeak, which of course has nothing to do with performance, right? But if you like to have a nice loud squeak like me, this shoe is really nice. It's actually really freaking loud, right? So yeah, clean court, very nice. Also, I didn't really have to break it in at all. For my first impressions, I was very impressed, and right when the first day I played in them, it was really nice on a clean court, right? However, dust performance, this shoe kinda is not it, you know what I mean? So it's not terrible, but it's not great, and also not even good, you know what I mean? I would say it's like okay, you know, okay to like kind of bad, you know what I mean? So if you're playing on light dust, it's not terrible, but it does pick up dust quite quickly. Yeah, just like even looking at it right now, there's a lot of freaking dust and dirt on the outsole, right? And hopefully it's coming out on camera. You probably can't see it too well on camera, but yeah, it picks it up pretty quickly. And also, it's not the easiest to wipe off the dust, you know what I mean? It's not terribly hard. You don't have to like really get in there, but it's also not just like a very easy slight wipe, you know what I mean? So that's kind of annoying, right? So like on a lightly dusty court, again, like it's not terrible, you know what I mean? Like if I kept up with my wipes on a lightly dusty court, it wasn't terrible. It was kind of annoying, but still had pretty good stops, right? But on moderate dust to really dusty, like heavily dusty courts, it was pretty dang bad, right? So it was just like it felt unsafe for me, you know what I mean? Like for example, it was just like inconsistent, you know? It would have some good stops, but also I did slip out, and I didn't hurt myself, but like I caught myself from falling, but I slipped out pretty bad, you know what I mean? Multiple times on a dusty court, right? And even when I did wipe, you know what I mean? And I had like a really good stop, I was like, oh, that felt really nice. Just like on some stops, doing some certain move, I don't know what it is, I just slipped out pretty dangerously and I didn't like it, you know what I mean? So just be careful with that. Just dust, and also it's just inconsistent and can be a little bit dangerous if you don't keep up with your wipes. But also, even if you do keep up with your wipes, you do still have a chance to slip out like I did, or from my experience I did. So yeah, dust performance, not the best, right? And as far as the durability goes, durability definitely doesn't seem like it's gonna be good. You know what I mean? I guess the grooves are really thick though, and also kind of deep, but then when I feel the rubber, it's actually pretty soft, right? I can easily move the rubber with my fingers, so I just wouldn't think it would be the best on an outdoor court. It doesn't seem terrible, however, like I said, because of the thicker grooves, but I don't think it's gonna be the best, especially since this is a freaking super expensive shoe, right? And also here in the forefoot, you can see the flex grooves, which helps the overall forefoot flex, right? But yeah, the traction, pretty disappointing when I was playing on a dusty court, right? And then moving on to the heel to toe transition, smooth, like too smooth, you know what I mean? So there's no Look at that. There's no midfoot chain plate at all. You know what I mean? And also, like a lot of shoes that are really kind of like flexible. For example, like I didn't even like playing in this shoe. Like I didn't like this shoe that much, right? But it's a really flexible shoe, right? But even if I flex it all the way, you know, it goes back to shape. You know what I mean? And that's normal. That's supposed to happen. There's no deformation of the actual sole. You know what I mean? But here in the Rovers, and again, this is a $200 shoe. Like you can't even add like a little midfoot chain plate. You know what I mean? Like you do this, you flex it. It's super flexible, by the way. Like I can literally flex it with one finger. That's how flexible it is. And then look at that. It's you know what I mean? So I mean, you're not really ever gonna bend the shoe this way, obviously. So that's not really the problem. But the problem for me was when you don't have support, like a midfoot chain plate or a plate here, you use your foot a little bit more. You know what I mean? So you have less support in your foot as well from your actual shoe, and it just puts more strain on your foot and your legs as well. And I definitely felt it, right? My arch was hurting a little bit, my feet were hurting, and I guess just my feet aren't that strong. I don't know, but you know, obviously from other shoes, they have a little bit more kind of like support, you know what I mean? So just a really flexible, like look at this. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So I mean, obviously from the overall shape, it's really smooth. Look at that. Right? And also here in the heel, it's really soft. So it's not clunky at all. It's smooth in the heel. Nice, smooth transition to the forefoot. And just really flexible feel. You know what I mean? So again, it's not terrible, but it's not super supportive for the overall sole of the shoe. And if you have foot problems, I definitely don't think this is the best option, right? And also not springy at all. It's just really flexible. You know what I mean? So there's the heel to toe transition. Moving on to the cushioning setup. So the cushioning setup actually I kind of liked, right? So they are using a proprietary foam as well. So they are calling this their hypergravity critical EVA, right? So it's a pretty interesting name, right? But yeah, the foam is actually quite soft. And it's pretty nice, you know what I mean? So the core feel is pretty good. And also the underfoot cushion and the step and cover is pretty dang nice, you know what I mean? So I would say it definitely did bottom out, however, you know what I mean? Like from when I first got it to now, it doesn't feel as soft, you know what I mean? So like when I first got it, it was actually quite plush. Now it's a little bit more dead, you know, but still pretty nice. Actually surprising, right? So overall impact protection is okay, right? So it is nice for the step and comfort and underfoot cushion. However, like I said, the core feels pretty good. So the foam is actually quite thin. And because the foam is thin and because the foam is actually on the softer side of things, impact protection, like overall impact protection is pretty good. You know, just normal impacts, just normal landings, it's good, right? But if you're doing hard impacts, hard heel strikes and stuff like that, landing extremely hard in the heel as well as in the forefoot, your feet are gonna hurt a little bit, you know what I mean? So that kind of sucked, but other than that, overall, it's pretty dang nice, you know what I mean? There's a nice heel compression as well. Not super bouncy, it's more just soft. And like I said, step and comfort and underfoot cushion is actually quite plush. So yeah, I didn't mind it. Again, for $200 though, it's not good. You know what I mean? Like you can find lots of cushioning setups like this for like 110 to like 150 bucks. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing special. I definitely feel like they should have added something else, but again, it's nice, but not great for the price. So there is a cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper. So the upper, also I actually did like, right? So we have a knit material and it says it's a yarn for high stretch and spring back. And it's an engineered knit with abrasion resistance. So I guess that's good for like durability and overall longevity of the material. But it's basically a shroud. A knit shroud going over the forefoot as well as the entire freaking midfoot. So just by the way, side note, it doesn't really have anything to do with performance, I would say, you know what I mean? I guess unless it's really like loose and you can't tighten it at all, but it's just freaking annoying to tighten these shoes up. You can't even get all the way into there. The farthest I could get is like the first 2 or 3 eyelets, right? And going farther than that is actually really annoying, kind of hard, you know? So I don't know why you would ever cover the entire midfoot like that, but it's just, yeah, it's annoying to lace these shoes up, right? But yeah, it's a really nice quality knit. It's super duper stretchy, and underneath that we actually have a mesh material with some overlays, right? So it actually feels pretty dang nice. Again, like I said in the first impressions, I would like to have it the opposite. You know what I mean? I would like to have the stretchy knit material be like a booty. You know, like in the Harden volume 7, 8, and 9. It's like a very stretchy sock-like booty right over your foot, and then a supportive shell over your entire foot, giving you better support, right? But this is kind of the opposite. However, it's actually not that bad. You know what I mean? It's like really soft. It's stretchy. Overall, it actually feels kind of supportive. You know what I mean? I didn't really have any terrible issues with support either for the overall material. And I feel like maybe that has to do with, you know, first of all, the underlaying material. It has the mesh with the like synthetic overlays, but also with these kind of like oval shape. It's like this plastic material. Like in these areas, the knit can't stretch, so maybe that helps as well. But yeah, it's just a really soft, comfortable material. Feels high quality, and yeah, it's great, right? And then as far as the tongue goes, we have like an average amount of padding. It's not super well padded. And it's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the ankle area, I would say it's around average for the padding as well. So it feels kind of plush, right? So yeah, I actually like it. You know, it's a nice quality material. It feels nice on foot. It's kind of thin, it's comfortable. So yeah, there is the upper there. And also here in the ankle area, we have this kind of like material, which also is kind of like reflective, right? So there's a material there. Moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, and this shoe fits me pretty dang well. So as far as the length goes, you know, my toes go very close to the edge of the shoe, and you can see that it is kind of flat here in the toe box, right? At the tip of the toe, which is good, you know. So length, I was good to go. And as far as the toe space goes, it's okay, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird because it does feel like it's right on top of my toes, right? It feels like a snug fit. However, because it's this really soft, stretchy material, I can still fully curl my toes up. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I don't like that as much. You know what I mean? I like to have a snug, kind of like supportive feel. You know what I mean? Although it's not terrible, I like this better than just being super duper roomy, because this feels like snug but also not snug when I curl my toes up. But anyways, it's still not bad, and I feel like some people will enjoy that, right? And then width wise, I would say it's around normal width. So yeah, overall the fit was pretty dang nice for me. And now moving on to the support and lockdown. Support and lockdown surprisingly was actually not that bad. You know, for lateral containment, I thought it was gonna be terrible, but my foot wasn't coming out of the footbed that badly. You know what I mean? Like, again, like, it wasn't the most supportive material. It wasn't the most supportive shoe, especially for lateral containment, like here in the forefoot especially. However, it wasn't terrible. So yeah, I feel like most people should be okay, unless you're like super heavy and you need a lot of, you know, lateral support. Here in the heel, we do have an internal TPU heel counter, it feels like, and I guess the foam comes up a little bit here in the midfoot, and we do have these kind of like plastic pieces. So yeah, lateral containment, it was pretty good, right? Also, lateral stability, I didn't really have any issues, although this shoe has no outrigger. So yeah, that's fine. And no heel slippage at all, you know what I mean? And because of this shroud, I feel like I didn't really need to, you know, tighten the laces here at the bottom of the shoe, you know what I mean? Which I think is a good thing, because like I said, you can't really go in there to tighten it that much, you know what I mean? It's just really annoying to do. So I didn't really have any issues with lockdown either. So yeah, supporting lockdown, it was pretty good, right? And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, these were like average weight, right? Yeah, no, 13.1 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 12.95 ounces, so around 13 ounces, right? So yeah, the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So this shoe is actually a little bit heavier than average, which yeah, this shoe, it feels pretty dang nice, right? It's a very cozy and comfortable upper, but not bulky at all. So yeah, it feels really nice and comfortable, right, for the upper. And then as far as like responsiveness goes, it's very responsive when you're playing on a clean court, right? But when I was playing on a dusty court, you know, traction just wasn't that good, which kind of sucked. But overall, it's a comfortable but also kind of responsive feeling shoe, right? And now moving on to the ventilation, it's actually pretty good. Okay, so it's weird because you do have a couple of layers of material over your foot, so it feels kind of warm, but there actually is a little bit of airflow through this material. So not the best for ventilation, but also not terrible. I would say it's actually kind of more on the cooler side of things. And now moving on to the longevity of the shoe, I feel like it's okay, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels cheap, you know? Like, the overall shoe feels cheap, just how it was made, how it was put together. Like, it just doesn't feel like a $200 shoe to me, especially on foot, you know what I mean? I guess besides the material quality is great, it's comfortable, but just like how the shoe feels, how it's put together, just like in hand too, just it doesn't feel like a $200 shoe. You know what I mean? So there's that. And also, like I said, the cushion did bottom out pretty quickly too. And now moving on to the aesthetics, it definitely grew on me. I feel like it's a very unique looking shoe. Definitely not my favorite though, you know what I mean? But I love how it looks like a very futuristic shoe. So yeah, tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, it wasn't the best, you know what I mean? And if we're taking into account the $200 price tag, no, don't get this shoe. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many better shoes out there for way cheaper. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other shoes that you can get that are better than this shoe, in my personal opinion, for like 110 bucks to like 150 bucks. You know what I mean? If you do really want to get the shoe, if you're like, you know, a Jaylen Brown fan, you know, you can definitely make it work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a terrible shoe, it's just definitely not my favorite, and I definitely feel like there are some flaws. You know what I mean? First of all, the dust performance, not great, and also it's just way too soft. You know what I mean? I like a soft, flexible shoe. Usually, like, you know, the 808s, like the Kobe 8s, the Kobe 9s are super soft, you know what I mean? But this is just on a whole nother level. And then everything else, I mean, it was okay. It was pretty nice. So yeah, I mean, obviously I would recommend this shoe more for guards, not bigger dudes. I definitely don't feel like big dudes can enjoy this shoe, especially because of the softer material. But for guards, I feel like if you really wanted to make it work, it'll be okay. But again, there are a lot better options out there for a way better price, right? So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of Jaylen Brown's signature shoe, the 741 Rover. Again, if you guys do want to copy, try to leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.